Rizal was born on Wednesday, June 19, 1861. It was a few days before the full moon. His only memory of his years as a baby comprised of slight notions of the morning sun and of his parents. The training he received from his infancy very likely formed his habits. He recalls his first gloomy nights, passed on the azotea of their house. On moonlit nights, he took his supper on the azotea. His nurse, who was very fond of the young Jose, used to threaten to leave him to a terrible but imaginary being like the bogey of the Europeans if he did not eat his food. Jose Rizal had 9 sisters and a brother. He had an excellent father who gave them the education they needed. By careful saving, Rizal's father was able to build a stone house for his family as well as put up a nipa cottage on their plot of irrigated ground. This cottage was shaded by banana trees. At nightfall, Rizal's mother had him and his brother and sisters say all their prayers together. Then they would go to the azotea or to a window to enjoy the moonlight, and Jose's nurse would tell them stories. Sometimes sad and sometimes happy, these stories were always oriental in their imagination. When Rizal was 4 years old, his little sister Concha died, and for the first time he cried because of love and deep sorrow. Until then, he had only shed tears for his own faults, which his loving, prudent mother well knew how to correct. Rizal learned to write in his own village. His father paid an old schoolmate to teach Rizal the first steps in Latin. This teacher lived in their house until the day of his death 5 months later. In June of 1868, Rizal went to Manila with his father. This was just after the birth of his sister Trinidad. They went in a casco which turned out to be a clumsy boat. Regardless, the young Jose was extremely happy at each new stop on the banks of the Pasig. Beside this same river a few years later, he was to be full of sorrow. They went to Cainta, Taytay, and Antipolo, and then to Manila. In Santa Ana they visited his eldest sister, Saturnina, who at the time was a student in La Concordia College. Following this trip, Rizal returned to his village and remained there until 1870.